Roger. Copy that. Perimeter secure. 10-4.
Welcome everyone, welcome to the Single Prepper channel, and I am Andy and this is the SHTF Intel Report, a global analysis coming to you on the winter solstice today, the 21st of December 2023, and it's not going to be 2023 for long. So wow, hasn't it been a while? Thank you so very much everyone for joining me. Please hit the like button, even though we've only just begun. It's a good way to get the show out there, so I haven't even tweeted it or anything, or it's just lich. Let's get out there, let's get it done. A few announcements to make. Obviously we're going to do a global analysis report like we like, so we'll get into that, and we'll have a little gloss over some stuff I want to chat to you about, and talk about a Christmas special show as well that we've got. So lots going on. I hope you've missed me. I've missed you all. I've missed our wolf pack. Thank you everyone for staying cool and you know, maintaining your loyalty and standing by me and your support and everything while I've had a few weeks out to get stuff together and, you know, get things, you know, sorted out, right? So now we're all sorted. It's all good in the hood and feeling good. I hope you're feeling good. Of course, this time of year, being the winter solstice today, for me is a great thing because I do suffer quite considerably from that sad thing, you know, the whole low light levels and vitamin D levels and things being low, and it just sets in that sort of real bad feeling of just bleh. And I had some of that as well, so I tend to go into hibernation, mad professor mode, start, you know, building survival products and stuff like that. So lots to come in that front. But from today onwards, obviously being a winter solstice, at least now we know that every day there's going to be more and more sunlight, and the days are going to be getting longer and longer. as we go on. So in the UK today, which is the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice, is the sunrise was 8 a.m. 8 a.m. in the morning, and sunset was at 3:45 p.m. 3:45 in the afternoon is when the sunset today. So obviously tomorrow that's going to be a later sunrise and a earlier sunset, and a later sunset and earlier sunrise, sorry. So welcome in, because we are that much closer to summertime again, where we can get back out into the wilderness and do some more bushcraft camp. Talking of bushcraft camp, because we'll start off with just some Sigma Prepper news, right? I got to tell you this, right? A few weeks ago, went to I went to do like an impromptu bug out, right? And I'd had a really bad shitty couple of days, and I thought, you know what, I really got to get into the wilderness, and that's where I you know, find it's a good place to collect yourself, right? So, and also being out on your own and getting into the hammock and stuff and setting up camp. So for those that didn't see the video, there's a few on the channel. So bushcraft camp, my stealth wild camp and stuff like that, solo wild camping, right? So I thought I'll do an impromptu one, right? And I just bolted off into the woods, took my bug out bag, my tarp, my hammock, all the usual stuff, right? Got it all set up by sunset. It was all looking good. Camp went up nicely. And I'm so disappointed I didn't do any video of it, but it wasn't that sort of a camp. But I got to tell you, it was a complete failure from the start. It was bad news. I had to bail out in the end because the wind was so bad. My hiking poles that I was using to prop up my tarp were just coming out. The ground was really soft, so the tent pegs were flying out. It was just like, it was a real it was really insightful to be out there in such bad conditions with branches falling around you all over the place. That wasn't a good look either. So I think I started packing up camp about 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I got out of there, right? And ended up just bailing. So, you know, just to let you know, even somebody who does bushcraft camp regularly every year for like 20 years or whatever, right? As survival camp sort of guy, even someone as experienced as me can come unstuck, right? So people that think they can just bug out when shit hits the fan, and they're not even experienced campers, let alone bushcraft or anything like that. And solo wild camp's very different. And so if it was a problem for me, it's going to be a problem for most of you. And this is the thing. It's like not to underestimate the... because bear in mind, in a grid down scenario, or where you've got a cyber attack takes the internet out, one thing that occurred to me that I've thought about quite a lot is the fact that at that point, you're not going to have access to even basic stuff like weather prediction, right? So you're not going to know that there's going to be 60-mile-an-hour winds coming, right? Now, it said to me it was going to be about 45 miles an hour, which I thought, that's doable. It was gusting at 60-odd mile an hour, right? And the woodland I was in isn't really thick with woods, so the wind could get straight through. It was bad news. No leaves on the trees either, don't forget, at this point of the year, after the fall. So there was like, oh man, right out there in the elements. And so I have to accept the failure and pass that on to you. Like I said, unfortunately, I didn't get any footage. It was that gnarly that I didn't even want to get the cameras out, right? Oof, bad news. So I just thought I'd update you with that. That was an interesting camp or not camp. And if I can come unstuck and have to bail out, then, you know, it's just to set an element of realisticness as to how bad things can get, even for somebody who's experienced. So we've got to be realistic in our expectations of survival when it really comes down to it, and you don't have that much time to prepare, particularly without access to weather reports and stuff. So we're going to get into this. There's a few other things we need to talk about. We're not going to get right into the headlines or anything like that because, again, it's pretty tricky. But we will have a full old set of quotes. We'll have a look at the economic stuff. We've got some good news stories as well. Solar flares and quakes, a lot going on with that at the moment, plus your memes as well. So we've got loads coming up. And in terms of the memes and the quotes and things like that, we get that from the Discord server. So the links are in the description below if you'd like to join that. It's a great wolf pack over there. And new people joining all the time. Hazy Days in there, just joined us, so thank you very much. Welcome to the pack. And of course, you've got your main hangout where people are just talking about various stuff and sharing bits and pieces. Thank you for sharing your stuff. You've got animal lovers, your memes and all that, but the main, you know, you've got all these areas of prepper intel, food storage, water storage and filtration, prepper sources, all sorts of good stuff in here. So thank you to everybody. Protection security is a good one. And so you've got all of these separate rooms in here to go and check out. Loads of information. And again, thank you to everybody who's been contributing, even down to the SHTF Intel there. Look, breaking news, people posting news reports every day. So please go and enjoy over that. It's completely free for you to join. Links in description below, as I said. And again, each time we do one of these SHTF Intel Global Analysis reports, I'll pick out some of these quotes that people have added in and memes, and I'll pick out some ones that I like, and we'll share them a little bit later on in the show coming up. So first of all, then, let's have a little quick butchers and go through. I have updated, let me just check in with the chat quickly and just welcome a few people here. So Daily Survival, moderator of all moderators, thank you, my darling. Great to see you. Miss Worm, in no particular order, great to see you. And I think actually, was Noelle Marie the first in? Oh, was it? It was Sandy was the first in, and Noelle Marie's here. Great to see you, my darling. I hope you're well. Purple Flurple as well. That was a great name to see come up. I hope you're all right, my darling. I've been meaning to call you actually for a good couple of weeks, but I don't know. I'm hoping because you're up now. I'm assuming that you're off work now for Christmas. Let me know in the chat, and it'll be great to catch up. All American Prepper as well. We've so got to hook up. We're going to be doing like a collab thing where we'll be joining each other on each other's shows and stuff, so I'm really looking forward to that. Like I said, it's been bad timing the last couple of weeks just being thing, but we're all hooked up now, so we should be good. And thank you for giving me your details as well over on Discord. All American Prepper, we'll catch up one-to-one. Happy Limpets with us as well tonight, great to see you. And Carolyn Rose all the way from Australia, great to see you. Usual suspects, it is, isn't it? Love it. And it's so great to get together with everyone. Kaz is here as well. And she's missed everyone as much as I have by the sounds of it. So thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us. I'm just scooting down. And Tonette as well. Great to see you, Tonette. So thank you, everyone, for being here. So what we're going to do, first of all, I have updated the Signal Prepper website on the SHTF Intel. This is the website here, right? SHTF Intel section. And today, I've updated 21st of December, the global threat analysis numbers. And essentially, a few things have changed. The destructive solar flare risk has been increased somewhat. What else went up? The national cyber attacks went up above. Fuel shortages, which came down slightly, with things have settled down a bit, subject to any conflict kicking off, affecting stuff in the Black Sea, the Bering Strait, the Gulf, and everything else, right? That is a potential. So, but the cyber attack, internet outage thing has been pushed up, particularly because of some of the sort of backstory narrative that the mainstream's putting out is quite clearly predictive programming for something. We've also heard from the You-Know-Who forum about cyber attacks, and there's also been things like there's been like staged drills and things to do with those same scenarios, a little bit like what we saw in You-Know-What for You-Know-What, right? So there's a lot of reasons why the cyber attack, internet outage, I know everyone can feel it, and there's all the AI stuff going on as well. There's a lot of things that people are using that for hacking and stuff. So there's lots of threats out there right now. So that's been bumped up, which actually falls in line with the Sigma Prepper hotspot, the Ultima hotspot. Don't forget the offline backup internet system, which runs independently from. In fact, it's on the, and again, actually thinking about it, that's linked in description below. The VIP price stands all over Christmas. So you'll get an extra 15% discount on that. But here we go down on the hotspot, right? So this is exactly for an internet outage scenario. So the Survival Hotspot, for those who aren't aware, is like a Raspberry Pi device, and it's got like a SD card RAM pack for things like Wikipedia and prepping survival tools and books and stuff like that, right? 60,000 books. So that's on special offer instead of $269. If you use a link in description, I think that ends up being $239 or $229 or something. I can't remember. But go and check it out. Links in description. Now's the time to do it. And you get an awful lot with it. It's the full kit, including all the cables, all the small PC system that's built inside the aluminium case, anything like that. So that falls in line with that. You've got the national lockdowns has also been bumped up again, because of what they've been doing. Don't forget, you've got the stuff going on with the WHO at the moment that are pushing through this new mandate to be able to take over sovereignty and stuff in other countries by rolling out their rules and their restrictions based on a future pandemic, right? So the national lockdowns, we already know, is something they're gagging to do again. So that's been bumped up a bit. The grid down blackouts are about the same as it was. And the other things that have changed is this, the global conflict has been notched up a bit. The inflation economic crisis went up a couple of percent, but they're both in the same order as they were. And of course, at the top, as we know, totalitarianism got bumped up a few percent as well because of recent developments, which does bring me on to something that I wanted to talk to you about. This is obviously available to anyone over on the sigmaprepper.com website. The link's in the description to that as well below, so go and check it out. This is on the SHTF Intel page. There's a survival gear there as well. But don't forget, if you're interested in that hotspot, the link's in the description below. And it's a special VIP link that normally only the Patreon members get the discount for that, but that's available to everyone while we're here, leading up to Christmas. So do take advantage of that. Thank you to Netrum Design. Yours is being collected tomorrow. It was supposed to be today. It's going to be collected tomorrow. And the other thing, we're waiting for the other thing to get to that place and then come back to the other place so it can then go back to you, if you know what I mean. But we'll deal with that. Don't worry. So that's what we've done there with the Sigma Prepper Intel, right? With the global analysis numbers. Now, the reason, the reason that, like, let's talk about this top one here, totalitarianism, right? Because it's an important thing. And it's, I was chatting earlier on today to, just before the show, actually, leading up to the show. And I wasn't sure if I'd talk about it or not. It was just a thought that I shared with Daily Survival and Sandy, two of my moderators who, for the channel, that are friends as well. So, and I hadn't spoken to them for a bit. So I thought, since I was doing a show tonight, I'll just get them both on a group call and we'll talk through what my plan is over the next few days for not just this channel, but my other personal channel as well. Anyway, so the point is that I said to them, and I said, do you think I should say the same thing out loud live tonight? And they both said yes. So here we go. What I was talking about was the fact that when we normally, like, I'm known on other channels and stuff, let's be honest here, right? I'm known for, how can I say, for being very awake, right? And knowing what's going on in the world and having been into that kind of stuff since about 2002, right? So on other channels and other live shows and things, I'm known for different things than survival and prepping, right? It's more my sort of geopolitical understanding of stuff, right? And so over the years, you go through this thing where you're trying to encourage other people to see the world as it really is, with, trying to sort of deliver new information about stuff they perhaps don't know about because all they do is watch the mainstream and they just believe everything the government tells them and so on, right? Now, it's a struggle because anyone that's tried to enlighten, or not enlighten is not the right word, but to try and it's not even educate, I don't even know what it is, but when you try and bring up that conversation around Thanksgiving table or whatever, and you're trying to talk to your family members about stuff that's going on in the world and they just like don't want to listen, and it's like very frustrating. And there's this whole thing about trying to wake people up, right? And people talk about it all the time, waking up the sheep and all this stuff. And I really don't like the term sheep at all. I think it's not productive. And that leads me on to my more recent, over the last 6 months, sort of development in my theory on things has changed quite significantly. And I find myself not really concerned so much anymore with the headlines, right? And what I said to Daily Survival and Sandy earlier on was that, ironically, in a way, before we get into this, cheers everyone. Thank you so much. Love, peace and progress to this beautiful pack. Thank you so much everyone for joining me. Cheers to you. So what I said was, in a way, the more people that wake up, the worse things get. And what I mean by that is the fact that all the stuff that we're seeing ramping up at the moment, right, from the powers that be, there's more and more laws, more and more rules, there's regulations on this, there's new regulations on that, there's you can't do this anymore, you can't say that anymore, right, you can't go here anymore. It's ramping up big time. You can't say this anymore, you can't say that anymore, and all the rest of it, right? And if you retweet something that we don't like, we're going to arrest you and all that kind of stuff. This is where it's got to, right? Now, these are good examples of totalitarianism, right? This is basically what happens when the state or whatever starts to get into panic mode because they're losing the narrative, because they're losing the people, right? And they're becoming more and more disconnected from the reality of what people actually think, what people actually want. And what's worse is that we've got to the point, particularly what happened during 2020 and so on, more people, so to speak, woke up during that period than ever before. That was the biggest backfiring I think I've ever seen, right? And that's always the risk you take, don't forget. If you're going to start getting into behavioral change, if you're going to start getting into cognitive persuadance and sort of neurolinguistic programming to try and behaviorally change your population to act differently and to perform differently and to talk differently, you are taking, every time you try and do something like that, you are running the risk of it going wrong. And if it does, you're going to expose yourself, and you end up in a situation like we are now, where people all start to realize that everyone is realizing that the emperor isn't wearing any clothes, right? And so the minute that happens, you can't undo that. You know, from the you know, hierarchy point of view, you can't undo that damage. The same as, like, as people will know, once you've been awakened to stuff, once you've been enlightened to stuff, once you sort of figured stuff out, the reality of how things really are and how the world really works, right? And how nasty it can be. When people, you can't go back to being asleep in that way, right? It's not a choice. Once you are enlightened to that shit, it's like a self-enlightenment about, fuck, shit isn't the way I thought it was, right? And it really is that bad, you know? And I went through that back in 2002, and it's been escalated since, with just like, the more you get into it, the more you learn to be very good in the way that you discern things and the way you identify what's fake, what's disinformation, what's misinformation, and so on. That takes a long time and a lot of experience to figure out, to know who to trust, what the conflicts of interest are, you know, understanding things like, you know, it gets complicated, but you've got the people who are the paid opposition. You know, you've got people who are unknowingly paid to say things, who appear, you know, it gets complicated. So, but the more you go through that, you can't undo that. In the same way as once there's a certain percentage of people that start figuring out the realities of how stuff works, that's where they lose control, and that's not something they're prepared to ever do. And so as a result, if you think about it, this is why we're seeing the escalation and the ramp up of the complete and utter tyrannical shit we're seeing, with the sort of laws and things that are put in place and all the restrictions and everything that used to be our valued freedoms have been infringed, and you know what I mean? It's been like mission creep the entire time, right? And it's only going to get worse, because part of the reason why those things are having to be done is because of the way that people have been dissenting, the way that people have been objecting to what's going on and all the scams and all the corruption and all the rest of it. The people are sick of it. And of course, you've got homeless people with nothing in your own country, and yet all these other people seem to get all this other stuff. And it's like, how does that work? Just nothing seems to sort of add up. And so a lot of people are feeling like this just isn't right. You know, people look at Biden and the elections that are coming up, and you can just see what's going on, right? Unless you really are that blind. And so the problem is, though, is that the more panicked they get, because of the more people that are realizing it's all a big, you know what, the more they're having to resort to nothing but violence and panic lawmaking to restrict more and more freedoms, to stop people saying stuff, to stop it, you know, and that just becomes a perpetually never-ending. Do you know what I mean? And so this is what I mean by the more people that actually wake up, the more people that come aware, the more people become aware of the realities of what's going on in the world and become awake, right, the worse it is for everyone, because the more panicked the powers that be get to stop. Do you know what I mean? It becomes more and more tyrannical. So, but equally, on the flip side of that, if you don't try to inform others and to sort of wake up others up, as people would term it, then you're going to end up in the same place anyway, which is the end result goal of complete and utter domination. And do you know what I mean? And fucking, what is that Orwell quote about boot stamping on your head forever or whatever, right? That's the ultimate goal, clearly, because if current trends were to continue, it would be quite easy to extrapolate forward where it would end up, right? I mean, that's what I've spent my life doing, right? Hence my prediction tools and stuff like that I've built before, right? People know me for that for other channels. But this is the point, is that it's a really tricky situation we found ourselves in society, because there isn't really any winning or losing, because we kind of know. Let me know if you know what I'm chatting about, right? I mean, it's a really disappointing thing to talk about, because, you know, the reality of what I'm actually saying here is that there's nothing we can do about it. It's going to end up how it's going to end up, and there's nothing we can do about it. But that's not kind of what I'm saying. But at the same time, the more it happens, the worse it gets, because, yeah, the more people that wake up, the more panic they get, that people are figuring out that they're not wearing any clothes. Yeah. So it's like, it's just, you know, I think, and you know, Kaza here, just corner of my eye, that woman who profited from PPE stated that lying about it isn't a crime. They don't get. This is interesting, the point you raise, and I think you're right. I think the problem is that people have been corrupted morally as a whole, and whether that's been an offshoot of the general thing that has been pushed in social media and in the media and in the films and the music, right? That's how they do it. You know, if that's an intentional thing to drive the population to, I mean, they know all about the fourth turning and stuff like that. You know, we're in the crisis point at the moment. It's going to be the high next and so on, right? For anyone who understands that. It's a cycle that goes over about a generation of 80 years. It's segmented into 4 20-year cycles, right? And we're in the crisis cycle, just about to go into. So if you work that back, it will fall in line all the time. So they know that's going to happen. So are they driving that? Right? So if you think back to like the 90s, right? Back in 1990s, if you think about all the media and all the stuff we were surrounded by, for those that remember back then, right? For those that are old enough. But in the 90s, you had stuff like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was like super vibrant colour and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? It was like really nice shows like Family Ties that had really good moral stories of them. Same as, you know, even Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had like moral meaning to each of the stories. There's none of that anymore, right? Even the music was about love and good times and having a good laugh and stuff like that with your friends, was what the music was all about in like the 90s kind of era. Right, and then something changed. If you look at it now, it's all about the hate, and you look at the music now and you look at the music videos, it's just so satanic, it's not even funny. You look at the movies and it just, every single movie covers like this dark green kind of a tint, horror, Chainsaw Massacre looking vibe, even when it's supposed to be a love story. And even a love story has to end up having some crazy shit in it, right? It's like, there's no comedy anymore like there used to be. It's like, you know, you look through the Amazon listings or whatever for anything that they call comedy, and it's like, what is that? And if it's not complete nonsense, it's so full of predictive programming and narrative throat stuffing messages of goodness knows what. It's just unwatchable, right? So something clearly has changed along the way, right? And this is the problem, is that this is the most frustrating thing, is that once you change society over such a long period of time, in such a controlled, planned, executed way, yeah, it's very it's very difficult to undo that kind of brainwashing, right? That behavioural change that's taken place over a couple of decades, right? And so they don't care about the people before, well, because the people at school now Imagine what they're being taught in school. We know what they're being taught in school, right? We hear about it all the time. The crazy stuff that's going on in the education, and particularly in the Western countries, right? And so these kids that are at school now, don't forget, are going to be the people that you're going to be voting for to be your president, right, in 10, 20 years' time. And so they're going to be, their policies and their objectives are going to be based on their original upbringing, their education, the messaging that they had during their formative years that makes them into the decision-making being that they are, whether they become president or end up, you know, being a plumber, right? It's going to, and so the way that it's seeded so early on and nurtured all the way through, you're literally... You're growing a new species of human just by the way that you're engineering it, doing it through the education system, through the music industry, through the film industry, through social media, right? This is big picture stuff. This is like real. We're not getting in the way of it, right? That's the point. There's not enough of, you know. Thank you so very much, Daily Survival. Yes, if you would like to support the channel, which is already bankrupt, thanks to YouTube censoring the hell out of it. Yeah, Streamlabs is a great way to support the channel. You get a little flashy up thing here. Look, there's some people who did some Streamlabs before. It looks like it was all on LaughsMe supporting the channel. So I don't mean to rant about it, but I think it's an important thing to talk about, because all the time, like all these channels talk about the headlines and all that all the time. All they're doing is they're pushing the mainstream narrative. Even if they're moaning about some new news story on the mainstream, they're still advertising that story, and that story headline was created for its neuro-linguistic programming entity, right? And so just by you repeating that news story, you're just doing their work for them, and they know that, right? Which is why what I was doing on this channel with the original SHTF Intels was talking about all the stuff that they weren't telling you. But it turned out that's what ended up getting the channel its warning and all this other stuff, and removed from search engines and all the other shit. Oh, you see? So they've got you, no matter what. We've got to the point now, if they don't like what you've got to say because you speak too much truth, then they just turn you off, right? Cheers, everyone. Here's to not being turned off. So, yes. Enough of all that nonsense, but I just needed to get that off my chest and just let you know how I'm seeing things. Because as being what other people would call a truther for like more than 20 years, right? I mean, I used to be on live radio shows back in like the early 2000s talking about this shit, right? And it was, but nowadays it's a you know, it's a risk riddled endeavor, right? Obviously I still keep my eye on everything that's going on, but in terms of talking about it openly, it's just difficult, right? And you start to wonder, what's the point? I already know where it's going to end up. Right, I was talking about it 10 years ago is where it's going to end up, and everything that they've done since has fell in line with that. So then the more times they do something that you imagine they'd have to do to get to the point where you'd already predicted they want to get to, it's like just confirmation continually, right? Of like, okay, well, this is where we are on the milestone then, right? It's pathetic at this point. It's so predictable. It's the culmination of the long march through the institutions. The left told us they were going to do it back in the 60s, and they've done it. They sure have, Miss Worm. So lovely to see you with us. Do you know, it's funny, because I thought, oh, there's no way YouTube's going to probably put any notifications out to anyone, right? They never do for this channel, but, you know, it's so pleased to see the people that are here. Pedigree Mongrels with us as well. The trouble is implied consent. The more the masses comply, the further. Yeah, and this is the thing, isn't it? Yeah, Happy Limpet here. Look, nothing will change until people are starving. I mean, that is the plan, right? That is the plan. Oh, thank you so much, my darling Purpley Poos. Yeah, if you do Streamlabs, that comes up directly on... Thank you so very much, my darling. We missed you, she says with a kiss. I miss you too, my darling. We definitely got to catch up one-to-one when you're about. Tonette gets notifications, look. Thank you for letting us know. Cheers, my darling. Let's do another one. Oh. I did want to just get on and say hi to everybody. So, yeah, by the way, if you do Streamlabs, Purpley Flues, if you do Streamlabs, rather than, which is in the description below, streamlabs.com/SigmaPrepper, that's it. Like Robert McNamara's just done. It goes to the same place, which is super duper. It goes straight into PayPal, so with no charges, which is great. So, and you can put a message on. Thank you so much, Robert McNamara. I really appreciate it, man. Look at his name up there. Didn't even see you in the chat, dude. Have you been hiding in the background, have you? Yeah. See, All American Prepper, he's got a pretty good channel, and he's saying here, look, that is exactly what I don't do that on his channel, right? It's literally helping the predictive programming. It's, I mean, it's, you know, even if you're talking about it to say, oh, this is messed up, like he says, you know, it's like you just, if you know what's going to be panning out, and you know what's going to be panning out, and in that respect, it's like just waiting for it to happen. You know, you ain't going to be able to stop it. I mean, if you look at what they're doing with electric cars, if you look at what they're doing with insurance, if you follow Survival Lilly, she did a one where she had one of her subscribers who works for the insurance industry send her an email talking about what the plan is with like the ability to switch off your car, and if you're, you know, if your social credit score goes below a certain point, your car's not going to work and stuff like this, right? Depending on what time of day you're driving and who's in the car with you and all the rest of it will depend on how much it costs per mile to drive and all this other business. This has all been built into it, right? It's going to be bad news, right? We are doomed, you are right. Oh dear. But we're not talking about that. It's Christmas, right? So we're going to be happy chappies. So what we're going to do is, this was only supposed to be a short show just so I could say to you guys, you know, we're going to be doing a special Christmas show tomorrow. Right, Friday. I just don't know what time yet, but I'm just giving you the heads up. Right, we're going to be doing a special Christmas show. We're going to be having the full shebang, yeah, the full like Sigma Prepper live show, which includes things like the Sigma Prepper quiz. Don't forget, we've got Prepper's Progress. So if you want to send me something over on Discord for Prepper's Progress and over on Discord server here, look, it's free to join. The link's in the description below, so definitely do it. This is the memes. If you go down on the left-hand side, you see here you've got Prepper's Progress, right? So if you'd like to share... Look, there's no one in here. I just set it up the other day. Because we used to do that by email. People send progress at sigmaprepper.com. But rather than that, if you've got any progress you've made with your preps or anything, we used to share it amongst each other. And on my main live shows, it's just very expensive production to do. And I'm bankrupt, so I can't afford to do it. But I'm going to do a special one for Christmas. But we'll have the Sigma Prepper quiz. We'll have an SHTF Intel report. We'll have Prepper's Progress as well. So if you've got anything to report, I noticed someone on the main Hangout, I put a picture of their bug out bag, look, showing one similar to what I've got, the Rush 72. So stuff like that, right? If you want to show off your preps and that, then whack your pictures in here and I'll feature them tomorrow on the Christmas special, right? So I just thought I'd raise that with you. I've got some stuff I'll show you anyway of some of my progress I've made and stuff. So we'll do that. We'll have a full shebang show, quotes as well. We'll have a good old laugh, and a Merry Christmas to everybody. So that'll be the plan. Netrum Design is in the house. I did give you a shout out earlier in the show, but I don't know if you were there for it. I did mention you and your package and stuff like that, right? Not that package. Who misses? But thank you so much. Great to see you, my man. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anyone. So that is the plan. We'll be crazy busy tomorrow. Yeah, this is it. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be ram-packed or anything like that. And I'm not sure what time it'll be because I've got a friend of mine who I haven't seen for absolutely ages. And the only time he can come and see me is tomorrow night. But I just don't know what time. So it's probably going to be a little bit earlier. It'll be maybe something like, I don't know, 7 p.m. UK time, which would be more like 3 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. No, it won't. What's that going to be? 7 p.m. That's going to be more like 2 p.m. Eastern time. Let me know if I'm wrong. Eastern Standard Time. So look, everyone in the chat. It's great to see you all. What a lovely wolf pack we got here. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's get through it then. Got loads of adverts just thrown up in front of all those tabs that I've got open to talk about on the news. So what we're going to do is we're going to fly through here and just get straight into it. So I just thought we'd stick to, since I've already ranted about the state of the world, we'll just have a quick look on the watches and see what's been going on in terms of environmentally and natural disasters. So the biggest blizzard ever recorded along China's coast. We've got an X 2.8 solar flare. That was on the 15th. Don't forget, I was tempted to do a show for that, but fate wouldn't have that as a reality. So, but I have been keeping my eye on the Iceland volcano situation. So we will have a stop in on that. There's that rare snowfall. Look, it hits China. And this is what... oh, look at this, look. Firefighters battle a major wildfire near Cape Town, South Africa. Look at the state of that. That's not Tabletop Mountain, is it? No, that's not... Is that Cape Town? Not sure. So this is the Iceland situation. Volcano. No visible eruption at Iceland's Sundhaskisga lava flow possible in channels. I saw something showing something like 3.5 kilometers, 3,500 meters. That's probably about 2 miles. 2 miles fissure, like spurting out lava, over 3.5 kilometers. Yeah, so properly hitting the fan there. Eruption site, lava flow. I don't know if it's going to mention anything about that here though. I haven't read this through. It's all about 70 minor quakes and stuff recorded over the magma conduits. Don't think it's going to mention it in here. But yeah, activity appears to have diminished last night, so maybe it has gone down a bit. So that's good news if it has, because that was looking like it was going to be a real big problem, particularly for stuff like the power stations that are near there, where they've been putting up special barriers for the lava, believe it or not. They're big old concrete blocks that they put in to try and divert the lava away from the town. Serious situation. So in terms of the quakes, talking of quakes, look, that 6 point whatever must have dropped off there in Peru. But yeah, so we've got 37 quakes on the map, which is about average. It's about 5 more than average, to be honest, but looks like there's a few here. Let's see how many that is. 5. There's a cluster of 5 here. Look, so that's what it is. That's the overage that I'm seeing from normal. Like I say, about 30 odd quakes, 28, 32 sort of area is what we usually see. So nothing major to report there. So let's have a look at the space weather, which is a slightly different story. We have had an M-class solar flare, 4.2, and we do have 2 gnarly sunspots. So we'll check that out. This is how the visible disk is looking. This 3529 big gnarly beast down there is the one that's caused a few problems, and there's another one as well that's looked like it's getting ready to do something. So we'll have a look at that on the sunspot summary here, and it will give you the rundown. Look, so you've got these 2 here, the beta gamma and the beta delta class, magnetic class. That's why they're red, right? You'll notice these are alpha, and they're just single magnetic class. There's no magnetic mixing, right? This is a little bit like a north and south pole of the magnet sort of thing, if you imagine that. That's what this red and the blue designate. And when they start mixing in beta gamma classifications in the way that they mix and how, once you get beta gamma delta, right? Yeah. That's when you got solar flares rocking. So this is the most likely look at 5% for an X-class solar flare. And it's the gnarliest as well. You can tell by the sunspot area, look, you see it says 450. That's 450. That's 450 millionths. Just so you know. 450 millionths of the surface area of the sun. It doesn't sound like much, 450 millionths, but when you talk about the size compared to these other ones, look, you'll see that 450 is going to be the biggest one on here probably. 200, look. 10, 80, 140, you see? So that's what that is. It's talking about the actual surface area size of that sunspot in relation to the sun. Anyway, what else can I tell you? That was the 4.2. Look, it's off the limb, so you know. So that's about it, really. So we'll have a look at the. Are we doing that or not? Nah, let's just do the quotes and then we'll do... No, we won't. We'll do quotes, then we'll do... See, we've done flares and quakes, look. So we should do quotes, shouldn't we? Should we do that? Let's. Right, let's break up a bit. We're going to do some quotes, and then when we've done that, we'll come back with some economics, and then we'll get into some good news stories. And we've got memes as well. We got it all going on. But first, thank you for entering the quotes in on the Discord server. Let's check out a couple of them. Oh, so here we are. Sigma Prepper quotes. Are you a Sigma type? This is to do with personalities, obviously, for those who didn't get it. Tend to be independent, self-reliant, those sorts of people. So, thank you for sending in the quotes over on Discord server. Got one here from Daily Survival, which I liked. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try one more time. Coming in from Thomas Edison. Thank you so much for Daily Survival for putting that on the Discord server. And again, look for the brain icon. You can see top left corner there just to represent what the icon you're looking for in the room on the Discord server for the quotes. So if you think you got a great quote you'd love to share, then please do. We'd really love to see it. And you could yourself be featured here on Sigma Mindset Quotes tomorrow night as well. Don't forget, we got the Christmas special tomorrow on Friday, the 22nd of December. So do join us for that. And of course, if you've got some cool quotes, get them in there and we'll have a good old quote fest. So that's the plan. Thank you so much, Daily Survival, for that one. Number 2 we got from Lasme. What a darling. She's always a good one for quotes and memes. She's a meme mistress, and a quote mistress. An environment that is not safe to disagree in is not an environment focused on growth. It's an environment focused on control. Talked about this earlier, didn't we? An environment that is not safe to disagree in is not an environment focused on growth. It's an environment focused on control. So that's coming from Wendy Jade. Nicely done. Last me, thank you so much, my darling. And thank you for reaching out to me as well. I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your friendship and that. So, and love to you as well, what you got going on. So thank you for sending this one in over on a Discord server. Link is in the description, everyone else, if you want to join for free the Discord server for our beautiful wolf pack here at Sigma Prepper. Next one coming in from our beautiful Perps. Thank you so much for your super chat PayPal. Really appreciate it. Much needed. Christmas has already been cancelled. I'm hoping we can somehow uncancel it, but it's looking bleak. It's looking mild. But with your support, my darling, we're looking that much closer. Thank you. This is the quote that she whacked in there. Always a good one. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. And if you are at peace, you are living in the present. Do you know, there's something I always just say to people. There's no amount of regret will change the past. There's no amount of anxiety is going to change the future. Right? It's a similar sort of thing. But I love the way this is done. So thank you so much, Perps, for sending that in. Like that one. Hence, that's why we're showing it tonight. Here on the SHTF Intel Report. If you think you can better that, get your best quotes in there today on the Discord server. Looks like that. Links in description. No excuses. Get it done. Hit the like button. Good suggestion. Just rude not to at this point, innit? So, thank you everyone for sending in the quotes. Let's get back to the SHTF news. So, we're back. Right, so let's get into it then. We're going to go straight into economic crisis and crypto and ting, which we did have a little sneaky peek just before we were coming in. I did actually update the numbers down here, I think, before we went live. We've got the main ticker numbers that I update them manually, right? But they did update. So thank you to the VIP Patreon members as well. Must give you a shout out in a minute. So gold price, we're talking 2,046 buckaroonies. So good to see it above 2 bags of sand. It's not been above 2 grand for a while. And this is how the chart's looking. This is for the week. Let's have a look at 3 month and see what the trend's looking like. Yeah, it's starting to creep up. We'd expect it to be. We'll have a look at it's up 6% in 3 months. Look, so silver price is not doing quite as well, but this week has been pretty good trajectory. Look at that, right? So yeah, 24 buckaroonies. But I can tell you now, when I updated the ticker numbers, it's not changed. It's gone down from like a month ago, right? So yeah, it's not great. Cryptos, little bit surprised. I mean, we did see this peaking at 44,000 momentarily. It's back down at 43,700. 44,000 is going to see a lot of resistance. A lot of people, you know, for those that don't understand, basically when you're doing trading and stuff, a lot of people have automatic sells and automatic buys that you can do. So if you want it to, like, you can say, oh, when it gets to 44,000, sell X number of Bitcoin, right? And equally, people can say, oh, when it gets to $40,100, or, you know, 40,000, buy X amount of Bitcoin, right? And so what happens is that those sort of like just those psychological silly numbers, like flat numbers, it just tends to be a lot of people that are all wanting to sell when it gets to that critical like 40 grand or 50 grand mark. And so because there's so many people who have got automatically to sell when it gets to 40 grand, for example, it just goes back down again with all the people selling it, and then it tries to get, and it goes back down again. So that's what the resistance is. And you have these resistance layers at certain numbers. So it's going to take, it takes a while and a few attempts to break through that flat $1,000 mark, sort of silly psychological number. It's nothing more than just people setting their preferences as to when they want to buy and sell. It's silly. So you generally, but again, 43,000 buckaroonies, it's been doing all right, and there isn't really that much reason for it to be. But you can see here, it is due to new money coming in. We're at 1.6 trillion now. This was at 1.1-ish for a long time. So this is $500 billion. That's $500 billion of new money coming into cryptos, right? That's a significant amount of new money coming in, because sometimes cryptos can go up, Bitcoin particularly can go up, but all these other coins can go down. So there's no new money in crypto. It's just the money shifted from a bunch of different coins into Bitcoin because people feel it's a safer time to go into there, right? So that's what happens, just as a brief overview, right? So what I'm saying is that rather than it being, and you can always tell when you go on the market and you look at, what's going to show you it? We need to look at this really to see if it will show us the market trend. Here we go, so on the volume. But it will also show the Bitcoin dominance is what I wanted to show you. Now, what you will see is the Bitcoin dominance can go up. So it means that the same money is there, but it's just being shifted into Bitcoin or coming out of Bitcoin into all those other coins, right? But what I'm saying is that what we're seeing is this, which is like actual new sheets coming in, right? So this is what I'm saying here. We were down to like, Alpha, this isn't even going, this is only going back to the 8th. We need to go date range. We need to go like last 2 months and you'll see what I mean. Look, right? So down here at 1.15 trillion, right? So like 1,000 billion. And it's gone lich from 1.15 up to 1.6 in 2 months. That is a lot of new money coming in. This isn't money shifted about. This is new people coming into crypto that weren't in crypto before. Do you understand? This is important. So, for those that didn't know, and that's it for that. So what we're going to do, right, because we've got good news stories, which does actually come next. That's all right. But it's just we've done the solar flares and quakes already, but we will finish on the memes, I think. So let's do that then. So we are allowed. Let's check in with our wolf pack in the chat. Father knows in the house, look. How can there be so many cryptos? It's not even government sanctioned money. What, you think fiat government money is? That's not money, is it? It's fiat currency. You know. How can the governments of the world let digital currencies operate outside? Well, ultimately they can control it, can't they? Because they can control the regulations of things like the exchanges, and without there being exchanges for you to go from your fiat currency into cryptos and back from cryptos back into your fiat currency, that's how you control it, which is why you see things like Coinbase, Binance and all that going through all this rigmarole with the SEC and all the investigations into that. They're all designed to introduce this regulation, right? The same thing with the matey boy, Sam Bankman-Fried, yeah? Sam, not a bank man, gonna get fried, right? With all that stuff. It was all designed to create a situation to be able to have the reason to start introducing regulation, and by the regulation they take control anyway, right? Yeah, good point as well, Happy Limpet. Fed ain't government owned either. Anyway, right? It's not federal, and it doesn't have a reserve. It literally prints money out of thin air, and it's a privately owned company by shareholders, of which are undisclosed, right? But it's a corporation that charges interest on money created out of thin air based on treasury bonds that are created and IOUs that are just made, and then they're cashed in at the bank that create treasury bonds out of that, and then out of that gets sold back to it to give the money to the government. Anyway, we ain't getting into that, right? So anyway, economic crisis and crypto, we've done that, right? And of course, this is why it's economic crisis, because it's going to be a collapse, because you can't, right? You're talking trillion, like 35. I'd lose even track of what the, you know, just even, it's nasty, right? ER Crypto Sam chiming in. What you were saying about market cap is yes and no. No, it's yes and yes. The value of MC is being created out of thin air. The money does not exist for everyone to cash out, if that makes sense. Yeah, but the issue is not whether the money is there or not. The issue is the fact that the difference is it new money coming into crypto that's pushing Bitcoin up to 43 grand, or is it just people getting scared out of the smaller coins, right? And out of your meme coins and all that shit, and fleeing to Bitcoin, which is usually a sign of bad things to come, and people are feeling uneasy about the crypto market. The point I'm making is that's not the case, because by looking at the market cap overall, you can see it's new money coming in and not money shifting from all the smaller coins to the big ones. You see, that's the point. So doesn't mean that it's even more or less credible or whatever. It's just that is what it is. Thank you so much, Daily Survival. It is a great way to support the channel with a Patreon. And thank you to those that are still patrons, because I know a few people have dropped off because times are hard. So, yeah. So then that's it. Then they let it exist to create. Everyone used to digital currency, so they don't have to shop. Yeah, well, they've got their own digital currencies themselves, don't forget, Father No. They're already in development. You've already got a digital pound that Rishi Sunak has been talking about. They've got a similar thing going on in all the other countries. It's all part of that agenda, right? Long term. So you're not going to avoid it, right? It's just, let's face it, if they didn't want it to exist, it just wouldn't, right? Working in a shop, cash is still king. It's only the younger ones using their phones to pay. Yeah, but this is what I was saying earlier, Perps, about how it's those younger ones today that in 10 years' time are going to be the people that are going to be the people voting for the governments. Are going to be the 10 years after that are going to be the people that are going to be entering into the government as a politician, as a member of parliament, as a congressman, as a senator. Do you see? These are the kids now that are don't want to use cash, because they've been convinced by the narratives that cash is no good, inconvenient. Why do you want to carry stuff in your pockets when you've got a phone already? You know, this kind of shit. It's not by accident. Yeah. So Pedigree Mongrel here. We were living in 1984. In 1984, Terminator film was made based on AI taken over by 2029. Food for thought. Yeah. Think cash will be only for maybe 500 quid transactions. Well, do you know what? They're already reducing the number of cash machines in the UK. The ATMs are being less and less and less. Look, more and more shops are saying card only. I mean, I remember the days when it was cash only. It's like if you wanted to use a card, it was like, sorry about your luck, right? But now it's like card only. So they're doing that more and more. That's how they'll do it. And it's very easy for them to roll it out, because all the banks need to do is to incentivize the businesses to only accept, which they're already doing, right? This is how they do it. So, for example, as a business, right, if you're taking cash, as Perps was saying here, regarding, you know, working in a shop in retail, for example, right? The problem is, from a business owner's point of view, when you're doing your banking, when you want to put cash into the bank, into your business bank account, they charge you a significant amount of money for that. There's a fee that you have to pay as a business to pay cash into your business bank account, right? So if you cashed out your till at the end of the day and you got your big money bags and that, right, at some point you want to put that in the bank, don't you? Because you got to pay for your electricity, you got to pay for your stock, right? So the banks know that the easiest way to manipulate the marketplace is to just ease and edge people into a direction based on incentivizing them or decentivizing them one way or another. And that's exactly what they do. They charge you like £100 to put £100 in the bank. Yeah, you want to put £1,000 in the bank, they'll charge you £100 fee for them to take their cash. You see? So it's like, or you're doing it as a transaction with the card and then it gets automatically digitally put into your bank account and it has insurances against it in case it was fraudulent and all these other things that they do to incentivize the card usage. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and there's no fees. The only fees to the seller, to the retail shop owner, is going to be your 2 to 3% or whatever transaction charge, based on their deal they've got with the credit card transaction company. I don't want to get too complicated into it, but I'm just saying that it's very easy for them to manage cash out of the system and to deprecate cash subtly by getting the businesses to do it for them, by incentivizing the businesses to not take cash because they're going to be charged £100 every time they want to put £1,000's worth of cash from the till into the bank. So you're losing 10% of your sheets, right, to take cash. So does it make business sense to incentivize people to use a card instead? Of course it does. You're saving yourself money, right? So this is really easy. Yeah, look, see Carolyn Rose here, look. Some went to put some money into the bank at deposit machine. It no longer allows it, right? They just manage you out of it, right? And if they can't manage you directly, they'll manage the businesses to manage you out of it by incentivizing them subtly. It just appears organic then that the businesses just decided to only accept card. But there's a reason for it. And the reason is the reason the banks created. You see? It's annoying, isn't it? Isn't it annoying? But it's okay because we've got good news stories next. So let's get into that and then we don't have to be annoyed. Check it out. Colorado Parks and Wildlife released 5 wolves in historic reintroduction plan. Check it out. In a significant step towards wildlife conservation, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, CPW, executed a historic release of 5 grey wolves into public land in Grand County, marking the commencement of a voter-approved reintroduction program. And you know we love wolves on this show. Hence, Sigma Prepper being a wolf. Oh, to our wolf pack. Love you. Yeah, so Colorado, watch out, you got some grey wolves in the mix. So that's cool. Initially captured in Oregon, underwent a thorough evaluation by the biologists to ensure their fitness and relocation. So that's cool. Shall we see a little clip of them getting released into their new home? Check it out. That looks like a dog. He's off, look. Look at the size of the GPS tracking thing they got around his neck, poor thing. Yeah. What was that other one? That didn't. This one here, look. That's cool looking. Look at his face. Gotta love the wolf. Oh, there's another one there, look. Here we go. He's off, look. See you later. Oh. I wonder if they're all part of the same family. I guess they probably are, if they're all going to hook up together and stuff. So that's a nice little news story there. Got this one here. Polish Parliament to host first ever Christmas meal for homeless and others in need. Isn't that nice? This story is just from yesterday. In a heartening initiative to spread joy and warmth this festive season, the Polish Parliament is set to host its first ever Christmas meal for the homeless and those in need. spearheaded by the new speaker, this dude. This event is part of a broader plan to enhance the image of the chamber and make it a more inclusive space. We love that word. Going to ramp up their CEI score now, aren't they? Scheduled for Friday, today, the Christmas Eve celebration will unfold in the grandeur of the Column Hall, the largest space in Parliament outside the plenary chamber. So that's cool. Makes a change, doesn't it? I mean, in America and the UK, you get arrested for feeding the homeless. I don't know about where you're from, but tell me if I'm wrong. MIT researchers discover new antibiotics using artificial intelligence. Now, not so much a good news story. It is ended a good news story batch, but of course it is good news for those that finding themselves immune to antibiotics in as much as using them too much in your life to the point where they don't do anything anymore is a big problem for planet Earth, right? So they're going to sort something out. But the real thing I wanted to talk about here when I saw this headline was we can expect more of this from artificial intelligence. And then I need to do a show all about artificial intelligence. I need to actually do an SHTF Scenarios on artificial intelligence, right? Anyway. So it's interesting what can come from it, right? And I mean, we'll see what happens with this as time goes on, if it becomes something ultimately in the end. Sometimes they come out with these discoveries as a way of getting funding. I'm not going to get into that, and then it becomes nothing. It's a nothing burger, right? But let's hope it's not something like that. But anyway, so that's what we got there for the good news stories. And so now we've got solar flares and quakes, but we haven't, because we've already blasted through that earlier because we were so well prepared and so efficient with our presentation and delivery. By golly, we've done it already. So let's move straight on to the memes then, shall we? Yes, Andy. What a great idea. Let's move on to the memes. So, don't forget, if you would like to contribute your favourite memes, you can do so again on the Discord server. The place to be. It's completely free to join. And great place to talk privately as well and have our discussions. We'll be having a little chat after the show. It is a bit late already, but I'd like to have a good half hour or something with the crew over in the VIP Wolfpack chat for the Patreon members. But over on there for everyone to join in with. Go and add your memes on there. Let's have some fun, lighten up a bit and have a laugh, right? And yeah, I've pulled out a few that I liked that are safe, I think, enough to show on this platform. So let's get into it with the memes. So we've got first one coming in from Chaos, Absolute Meme Meister. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, this is what I was talking about earlier. Look, analysing the facts, right? And then there's the following a narrative on the left-hand side. You're a terrible person. Oh, this one from Daily Survival. The 7 sins, look. Rage. Twitter. Envy. Let's see if I can get these right. I didn't go through this. To be honest, the first thing I saw to figure it out was the pride, and I recognised the LinkedIn icon. And I re-looked at it back. I thought, oh shit, yeah, I see. So yeah, you got Twitter, Instagram, Lust. I don't know what that one is. Is that Tinder or something? I'm not sure. I'm guessing that's some sort of dating app icon. Happily married for 25 years. How would I know? Uber Eats, Gluttony, Amazon Greed, ChatGPT Sloth, brilliant, and LinkedIn Pride. Isn't that cool? So nicely done, Daily Survival. I like that one. Yeah, look, another one from Daily. 69% of people find something dirty in everything they read. Of course it is. And Perps as well. She's proper memester. Thank you so much, my darling. When you accidentally watch some TV, innit? Right? Fucking totally. That's amazing. Let's leave that there for a bit. Cheers to that. Fucking hell. Yummy. Thank you so much, everyone, for being everyone. And this one coming in from Chaos. Another one from Chaos, look. Hate when older people say, you're too young to be tired. All right, Margaret, you're too old to be alive, but here we are. Fucking brilliant. Is it? Oh, well, I'm not going to do the Kermit voice. Hate when all the people say, no, I ain't going to do that. Another one from Gals as well. Look, he's absolutely lit. So this is brilliant. I think this is my favourite one. So what do? I'm a model on Instagram. You? I'm a soldier on Call of fucking Duty. Amazing. Amazing. Let me know what you think in the chat. But I'm loving that one. Oh, man. I'm a model on Instagram. Oh, and there is another. Oh, I like this one as well. Look, check it out from Sandy. Love it. Build Back Better Christmas 2023. Fucking hell, innit? This is, do you know, ironically, this is actually the same Christmas tree base as we've got in the living room. But the tree we've got on it is a bit bigger than that, but it is the same tree we've had for 5 fucking years. And we did say last year that we'd have a new tree this year with new lights. But as it's turned out, it's basically Christmas is cancelled for us financially this year, so we've got the same tree again, which is fine. But yeah, I like this one. Thank you so much, Sandy. And that's it for the meme. So thank you so very much. And again, if you think you can better that, we've got the main Ultimate live show coming up tomorrow for the Preppers live show, the live show for Preppers, Christmas special, where we'll have Prepper quiz. We've got memes, we've got quotes, we've got SHTF Intel, we've got it all, right? So don't miss that. Plus Preppers Progress. Don't forget what I told you. Get yourself over on Discord right now. Get yourself the memes on there if you think you can better them. Make them nice and safe because it's dodgy out there, right? We've got to be careful, but that doesn't mean we can't be funny, right? So get your memes on there. Also, Preppers Progress will be doing tomorrow night for the Christmas live show. So don't miss that, and get yourself in there with the memes as well and share them if you're thinking better, right? And that'll be cool. So yeah, thank you to those that have sent in the memes that I picked out on the Discord server. Get yourself joined. The link is in the description below, so there isn't really any excuses, is there? So, what we got next? That's it really, isn't it? Basically, we're done here, but we're not, because I just did want to say quickly, if I can sort my screens out. Sorry, I ignored everybody. I ignored everybody while we were doing the memes. I do apologise. Oh, that's a good one, Miss Worm. Successive generations have been infantilized, innit? 100%. 100%. Discord server, thanks for keeping us updated with the links. Moderator of all moderators, Daily Survival. Really appreciate you, my darling. So thank you for keeping that rocking. Is it Tinder, Noel Marie? Like it. Sloth, cold water, woolen wash. Fucking amazing. No, that was definitely OpenAI I recognised there. But it's funny because I literally only recognised that lastminute.com. So I had to go through, I was nearly embarrassed myself. I'm not sure which one Kazza love, right? Is this to do with the Sandy's yakking up one? Isn't it? Fucking priceless. Oh, I like it. So we're going to be definitely doing our Christmas special. I'll tell you what I was going to have a look at, actually. I should have... I'd like to at least show you what roughly... here we go. Okay, we can work with that. Can we? Here we go. So I'll tell you what, I'll keep the thumbnail the same as last year so that then you can recognise. Check it out from Netrum Design. What a superstar. Thank you so very much for your support, my man, especially after our little accident as well, which we need to figure out. But thank you so very much. I do appreciate you. You're such a top dude. And I know you're going to probably have some Preppers Progress, dude. So get yourself over on the Discord server and join in. And like I say, this is what it looks like. And you go down to Preppers Progress and get that started, anyone, with your progress. We used to do it by email, but it's better to just keep it all on this Discord server now because it's just a great place to share, right? So there's a few people who put some bits and pieces of their stuff they got rocking and some of the things that they've put together. So if you want to share some of that, I've got some things I'll be sharing tomorrow on the show for Preppers Progress. But you can come in here on the left-hand side here, go down to Preppers Progress, which is your little tick list. And just get your images in there and we can show them tomorrow to everyone. And of course, this is where you'll see the memes and the Sigma quotes and stuff as well that you can add in. And tomorrow night, we'll be doing a Christmas live special and it's going to look a little bit like this as the thumbnail. This is how it looked last year, right? So this is going to be this year, the 22nd of December. That's tomorrow, that's Friday. We're going to be doing a Christmas special. That's what the thumbnail's going to look like, apart from the dates. So just keep your eye out for that, because I haven't scheduled it yet. And what we'll be doing is the full shebang show, including all the features and all the segments that we do, right? Which, in fact, for those that aren't familiar, who isn't familiar, who hasn't seen, who hasn't been around, this will be it. So it'll be like what I used to do with the regular Sigma Prepper live shows. A very expensive production. Like I say, it takes a lot of time to put together, so I haven't done them consistently for a while. But we'll have the Sigma Prepper quiz, don't forget, so we'll enjoy that. We'll have 7 brand new survival questions, and you could win the ultimate award, 7 out of 7. This is kind of how it looks. What angle of blade sharpening is considered best for pocket and hunting knives, right? Day survival, this is what the winning page looks like. This is what you get proper flex and respect, yeah? And then, of course, we'll be having the best quotes as well. So do send your quotes in to the Discord server. We'll have a full segment on the quotes. Plus, we'll have preparedness, Preppers Progress. So please do share your Preppers Progress. This is how it looks. And, of course, we just show a few pictures and some peeps as to the stuff they've got rocking. And rather than the email now, we just do it on Discord server as how we're rocking, right? So that's kind of how the show will be. It'll be a fully fledged show. It'll be a Christmas special. We'll have fun and games. We'll have peeps. We'll have friends, right? But like I say, I just need to figure out the final schedule in that. And the final schedule. And yeah, I'll get it figured out. But like I say, it's probably going to be before. It'll be before 6 p.m. Eastern time. Most definitely. It'll be earlier in the day. But, you know. I appreciate people have got lots of stuff going on and all that kind of ting. So I don't expect everybody to be able to be there. But it'd be lovely to see if you can make it along. It'll probably be on for about a 2-hour show. So there'll be plenty of time to join in if you see the notification come up. But that'll be tomorrow night, Friday, the 22nd of December. As I said, like you saw how the thumbnail will look, so look out for that. I just haven't got it scheduled yet, and I'll figure out what my movements are tomorrow and what time we can get rocking. I've got to put the whole show together yet as well, so including your memes, your quotes, and anything else. So link in the description below. No excuses. Get yourself joined up on Discord server. It's completely free. Thank you to those that already have and made it what it is. You've been a super great bunch tonight. I really appreciate you. It's been lovely to catch up with you. I've missed you all very dearly. If anybody is around, would like to catch up on the after party, we'll have a short VIP after party for the Patreon crew. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit the like button if that's the only way you can help keep the channel alive. I would appreciate it if you've enjoyed the show today. And hopefully we'll have a super duper show set up for tomorrow. It's not Noel Marie's birthday, is it? Oh, of course, yes it is. Christmas Day. Definitely. But we'll be seeing you before that, girlfriend. We've got tomorrow's show, plus on the other channel. Yeah, we'll be doing a Christmas special on Saturday night, for those that know what I'm talking about, right? So on the other channel, Christmas special is going to be Saturday, the ultimate live show, like it always was, right? So that's what's coming on the other channel. Shouldn't talk about it on this channel, but I know there's a bunch of people here that know me from that. So thank you so much, everybody, and Will, thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate your support. Thank you, Robert. I really appreciate you. Thank you to all the super chatterers tonight, Netrim and Robert, and don't forget Perps as well. Really appreciate that. It's great gestures, so thank you. But here we go. Anyone on the VIP, don't forget, we can catch up in the voice chat. We'll have a quick after party. It'd be lovely to speak to voice and stuff. That's the great thing about the live chats we do on the after party. We can just talk amongst ourselves. It's not just me babbling and ranting into outer space. It's like proper, you know, like friends getting together for a night out in the pub, right? It's great. So I really appreciate that. So if anyone's around, I'm going to be jumping in there straight after the show. And yeah, we've done all right, I think, to get through all of this business. There's been a lot that we've gone through and everything. So I'm, you know, it's been wonderful. So I've been Andy, the Sigma Prepper. You've been absolutely wonderful. And in the meantime, love, peace, and progress. to the pack.